Hi, this is Courtney with Win Solutions. I'm here today talking with Stephen Troyer, who is the Program Director of the Rising Star Autism Center at FEAT Washington in Bellevue. Stephen is a board certified behavior analyst and has been in the field for 13 years. He has a master's degree in special education from the San Francisco State University. We are really excited to talk with him today because we want to learn about what he's doing at FEAT and also get his input on how to best choose a ABA provider. So Stephen, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi. So I'm going to get started with some questions. So can you tell us a little bit about what is FEAT and what is the Rising Star Autism Center and what do you do there?
Of course, FEAT of Washington is a nonprofit organization started by parents for children with autism. They provide different programs such as the Rising Star Autism Center as one of the programs they provide. They also provide a program called ELP for individuals with autism, but they're teenage learners, and so they're doing social skills, that sort of thing. We also have the family resource hotline for, especially for families that are getting new diagnosis for young children that aren't really sure what to do or where to go. We also have that resource guide that really provides a lot of support to families and kind of the next steps. And then we also have Ben's Fund, which is a scholarship program that offers scholarships to children with autism for different services that they may need, or sometimes it's for just different things that are related to their diagnosis that they would need. So they go through a scholarship program, and FEAT offers them scholarships for that.
Great. And so what exactly is the Rising Star Autism Center and what you do for them?
Well, the Rising Star Autism Center is actually pretty new. I've been the director there since October 2016, and it was formerly known as the Rising Star Academy. So it was more of an educational-based center, based more on kind of a preschool model. And they use the precision teaching model. So now the Rising Star Autism Center is kind of the next step, and we provide individualized ABA services for kiddos. We are a full day program. They are there from 9 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. Some do half day, some do full day, but we've designed individual ABA programs really designed to look at the child's behavior excesses and remediate those, to teach functional communication, to teach replacement skills, and get children ready for the next steps, whether that be a public school, private school, whatever their educational path may lead. And we work very closely with the families to obviously monitor progress over the years, to design a program that's going to get their child ready. That child.
Great. So at your center, do you do any telehealth or parent education? And if so, what are your feelings about providing ABA through these modalities?
Well, more recently, we have a new platform where we're able to, I always say, kind of bring us to the new age of inputting data and that sort of thing. So we have a new system that's relatively new to us to be able to track data really within the moment, which is really great. So we also have a parent portal that parents have access to their child's graphs, their child's information, as needed. The great thing about the center is I am there from 8 to 4 every day. So I try to do a lot in checking in with parents and really working with parents on the next steps. We do a lot of potty training. We're the potty training pros. So parents always want to know, what is that next step, or what are you guys working on today? So we have a lot of that. We don't infuse a lot of telehealth at this time, but being that the center is relatively new in so many aspects, that's something that is a priority to us. However, at this time, we're able to kind of meet the parent training needs on a daily basis.
That's wonderful. Great. So you serve families in Seattle and the surrounding areas, or do you serve families all over the state of Washington?
Right now, we are primarily in the Seattle, Puget Sound area. One of the things that I often say is we're not feet of Seattle, we're not feet of Bellevue, we're feet of Washington. And so that's a really exciting thing. And that feet is relatively small. And I think with the vision of what we have for just the Rising Star Autism Center, it's really cultivated this enthusiasm for us to look bigger and look outside of just this area in Puget Sound, because we know that Washington has so many areas that are so deprived of services. So we really want to look to change that. So we're hoping to do that in the near future.
Fantastic. I'm going to skip to this question then, because it seems like a good lead-in. So what do you see changing and growing for ABA services in the state of Washington over the next 5 years?
Well, I'm really hoping that the ABA community really bands together to look at some of the problems that I think that we're facing. And one of them is obviously we just don't have enough clinicians in this area. I think Washington coming in relatively late to insurance providers providing services for ABA has a lot to contribute to that, because it's kind of, we're in the infancy of providing ABA services here through insurance funding. And I really think that we really need to take a focus as behavior analysts. That's what we do. We look at problems and we modify things to make them better. And I think that we need more clinicians, but we also need to make sure that we are training clinicians, good clinicians. And that's one thing that I've really changed at the Rising Star Autism Center. When I first came in November, not one of my staff members was in an advanced ABA program. No one was even pursuing that. Now, over half of my staff are enrolled in ABA, BCBA programs, being supervised by myself, because I really feel that, we really need to support the community and provide really good quality staff. And a lot of people at FEED are like, but they're all going to become BCBAs and we can't have them all in one program. And I'm like, that's when we send them back out into the community, because that is a bigger mission for FEED, is we don't just provide services for our children here at the Autism Center. We want to send clinicians out into all over Washington to provide for the needs that we so desperately know that we have out there. And, I think it's great that we have the RBT requirements and the BCBA requirements, but even beyond that, we need to have continuity of training. And coming from California, it's really competitive. And so it drives you as a clinician to do better, to do more. And here, there is just such a high need. The agencies are employing individuals at very high rates that oftentimes I feel aren't at the caliber and quality of clinicians that they need to be. And so I'm hoping in the next 5 years to really be a part of that movement, to identify people that are passionate about the field and really want to do more, and train those individuals. That was a big part. Up here, it's kind of what I call a contracting world, where everybody they're contracting for hours and that sort of thing. And I got kind of caught up into that too. And a lot of my mentors were like, you have such a passion to train people, so you need to be training BCBAs. And so I've really taken that seriously and designed a model at the Rising Star Autism Center to be able to provide that to really good quality clinicians. So I have a lot of staff coming in seeking supervision. So I really hope that other BCBAs out there, really, it can be a competitive market. We're a nonprofit. That's what I love about FEED, is that that's what stands us aside, is that we're really here for the community, and we're really here to build the community, and we're not competing. And I think that one of the biggest assets that we have to give is a really strong training model for RBTs, for BCBAs. We want people to come and want to learn. And I think that that's what kind of sets us apart from everybody else.
That's amazing. We're so happy to have you here in the Pacific Northwest.
I love it.
So I guess my last question for you, Stephen, is what would be your biggest piece of advice to families when they're looking to select an ABA provider? What's the biggest thing that they should be looking for when they are on their search?
Well, I mean, I think from the families that I kind of interface with in doing intakes and stuff at the center, I notice a lot of families just don't even know what questions to ask. You know, they're kind of silent. So I will often kind of prompt them, like, if I were you, these were some of the questions I would ask. You know, really make sure that what agencies say that they're going to provide, that they really do provide, and they really follow through. I love families that want to be informed. I love it when they have questions to ask. That's not a bad thing. So really make sure that the clinicians that you're working with really can answer your questions about, these are the behavior problems that we're seeing. How do you plan to remediate that? How do you plan to teach my child? And how do you plan to teach me to teach my child? Because, you know, lots of times that exchange is very quick. Families are very desperate for services, and they've been on a wait list for so long that it's just like, oh, someone's here to provide services. But beyond that, really make sure that that agency, that company, those clinicians are a good fit for your family, and that, you know, that's a very fluid relationship, and you want to make sure that that's a good fit, because if it's not, there are other agencies out there, and I really think it's better to wait even longer if you don't have a good fit, because kiddos can be in a program for a long time and not really make any progress. And I think that just stems from families not really knowing and not really being investigative of what they're really getting into. And I know the ABA world can be daunting, but there are clinicians out there that will answer your questions. And you know, it's those connections that you make. And when you meet those clinicians and they're able to answer your questions, do everything you can do to work with those people, because you know that they're in it for the right reasons.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to say, you know, it's been really great talking with you. Really great advice. I'm going to post the website for FEAT along with this video, so people can go to the video. Any other things that you'd like to add about visiting FEAT's website, or?
No, you know, poke around on there. There's a lot of great resources. You know, and if I always say too, we're always looking for highly qualified staff and other individuals. Like, ask questions. If you are, you know, a college graduate, or you're not, or you're just looking for more information, like, investigate. There's a lot of cool things that you can do in the autism community. And I think FEAT's a really great resource of things that maybe you didn't even think of. But, you know, we're always looking for volunteers and employees and just anything, you know, so there's always tons of things to do out there. And the Pacific Northwest has so many great festivals and things that support autism. So get out there and volunteer and just be a part of the community, be present. You know, always fighting for kiddos and families with autism, because it's a long road and it's a tough road, and there's a lot of us out there trying to make good change. So you can be a part of that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Courtney.